this video. It's going to be a lot of like information, kind of like yesterday was, or a few seconds ago for you guys was. I'll try to get a little bit of fun stuff in this, but we are getting ready to go to my doctor's appointment to get all of our results for the surgery and for hopefully the biopsy that they did and the blood work that they did like 2.5 months ago. So I am so nervous. I really don't know what he's going to say or what he's going to recommend, and I feel like it could go either way. I feel like we really could walk in and he'd be like, I think this could work. Or we could walk in and him say, I just don't know what it's going to change. So we can try some stuff, but it may not work. So I'm just a bundle of nerves thinking about what he might say or what he might not say, and so I'm just so anxious to get there and figure everything out. So we're getting ready to leave, and we're gonna stop and get some healthy lunch stuff because we are starving. And yeah, I'm excited. Good day, sir.
Good day.
What are you doing?
Good day.
Are we here? What are we doing?
We're here. We're waiting. The ceiling tile's missing. We're waiting on our consultation review of the survey. Survey. I don't know. We're here for the results.
I'm really excited and really nervous. I'm really nervous and just want to have the results so that we can know
What
and
went down?
go. What?
What went down?
Oh yeah, what went down or up or what?
We're all around.
We're in the torture chamber.
And we're here again. Is this the same office we're always in?
Yep. Same one.
Really?
Exact same one.
Wow.
All the little info booklets. Some interesting pictures. Derek loves the pictures, don't you?
And a map. Just in case you
And the map. I don't remember the map though.
I do.
Oh, okay. I was too busy looking at the pictures. Hey guys. Long time no see. It's actually been 2 days since our doctor appointment, and this is the first time that I'm feeling like I really wanted to sit down and talk about everything that we learned from our doctor appointment. So as you guys know, we had the laparoscope and hysteroscopy done. We also had a biopsy done, as well as a bunch of different blood work on Derek and myself. So we had not really gotten any of those results. We kind of knew what he found during the surgery, but like I said before, I didn't really know how that was going to affect us or how he thought that it had affected us in the past. So I kind of went into this appointment like I do with every new thing that we experience with trying to deal with our infertility, and hoping that it was really going to shed some light on what's been going on. At our first appointment, the doctor was very hopeful that maybe we would even be able to get pregnant naturally or with something cheaper like IUIs, not necessarily going through IVF again. So I was really excited to get some new information and to just kind of get his thoughts on everything. So we went in and we waited and we waited and we waited. We didn't really wait that long, but it felt like an eternity. And the doctor came in and he started going over all of our results of everything. He went over all of our blood work. Everything was normal, which to any of you guys who have dealt with infertility, you know how frustrating it is for someone to sit down and say everything's fine, because clearly something is not fine. When you can't get pregnant and you've lost 2 pregnancies, there's clearly something wrong that needs to be fixed, and it's beyond frustrating to not be able to fix something because you don't know what's wrong. So we went through all of the blood work. Everything was great for both of us. We went through the surgery results. He said that I had stage 2 endometriosis. Some of you guys were wondering about that. I was wondering about it as well because he did not tell Derek. And he was able to resolve everything else that was going on that he saw during the hysteroscopy and the laparoscope. He also gave us our biopsy results, which would have told us about any infections in my uterus, killer cells, all of that kind of stuff. All of those were completely normal too. So the end of the story is everything was fine. Everything was normal. And so that was a little bit hard to hear. But I still, up until that point, had faith that he was going to say, I really think the surgery did something, and I really think it's going to improve your chances of getting pregnant greatly. And unfortunately, that's not what he said. He recommended trying IVF again with embryo testing because he truly believes that that is where the problem lies for us, because everything else has come back great. And so when we test them, do the testing on them or the biopsy on them, it's going to tell us if any of them are abnormal. And he suspects that lots of them will be abnormal, which I have a hard time going that route. Number one, because when we went through IVF the first time, we only had 4 embryos that made it to day 5. Which I already knew that wasn't the best sign. I'm 25 years old, and so I kind of went into it hoping to have lots of embryos and lots of eggs, and my doctor was not very pleased with the way that I responded to stems and the amount of embryos that we had. And so we did actually transfer all 4 of those embryos, not at the same time. The first time with the fresh transfer, I did get pregnant and then lost it at 7 weeks, 6.5 weeks. And then with the frozen embryo transfer, nothing happened. So I have a hard time going through IVF again to do embryo testing because it could end up that none of the embryos are normal. And so then you kind of spend all that money just to know that that's where the problem is, which we're kind of to that point anyways because nothing else seems to be wrong. And I asked him, I said, do you think that the stuff that you found during the surgery would have kept us from getting pregnant with IVF? And he said, honestly, no. He said that the stuff that he found could maybe like 10 to 20% have, kept us from getting pregnant some months naturally, but not necessarily keeping us from getting pregnant with IVF. He said that if we had not gone through IVF before, then after all of these results, he would definitely recommend IVF and say that that would probably work for us. But since we've already gone through IVF before and it didn't work, he said, I cannot guarantee that you're going to get pregnant with IVF. So it was a hard appointment to be a part of, and it's hard to sit and listen, and it's like bad news after bad news after bad news, and I'm like, could you leave for a minute so that I could get a good cry out and just let some of these emotions out, because it's such a roller coaster. And I had, up until this morning, I was just really, really down, and I was just so discouraged. And I've had to realize something that's kind of painful to realize, is that infertility is a disease that there's not always a cure for. And a lot of different things work for a lot of different people, and that's fantastic, but there isn't always a happy ending for everyone. And so I've kind of had to come to terms with the fact that, yes, I know you guys are all going to say there's absolutely still a chance. I'm 25 years old. I have 15 more years of chances, and maybe 1 month all of a sudden things will just click perfectly and everything will be great. And maybe it will happen, but I've had to come to terms with the fact that that's not what I'm depending on anymore. I'm not planning in my head that somehow this is going to all work out and it's going to be a fairy tale ending. Now, it will be, because we're going to have a beautiful child and maybe multiple children through adoption, and I'm so, so grateful for that. But as far as really thinking that after this adoption that we're going to, try IUIs or try to get pregnant ourselves, I'm not really counting on that anymore. And so that's been a little bit of a hard pill to swallow, because I feel like there's so many options when you're going through infertility, and there's so many different things to try, and there's so many different things to test for, and when you kind of come to the end of the line, it's hard to look back on 6 years of trying different things and realize, like, I've tried a lot. Obviously we haven't tried everything, but within a good reasonable amount we've tried everything. And so now to kind of be pulling at straws that are very, very expensive straws, I just can't stomach paying $15,000 to $20,000 for another chance when I could pay X amount and have a beautiful baby through adoption. And so I've had to just spend these last 48 hours refocusing on what is important to me and what truly matters, and that is that we're getting to grow our family. It's never been about biology for Derek and I. I just really want to experience pregnancy. That's just something that I've dreamed about since I was a little girl, and that I really would love to get to experience. So one thing that we asked our doctor about, and he said could be a possibility, is using donor embryos, which I have several really sweet friends who are actually pregnant now from using donor embryos, and so that's definitely not something that we're marking off of the list. That's definitely something that we will probably try in the future. It's normally cheaper, at least with our clinic, it's cheaper than going through IVF. The only problem is that sometimes the embryos are not as great of quality, and sometimes they've been frozen for a long time. But anyways, that's all stuff we can think about and get to when we get to that stuff. But yeah, and we're definitely not throwing IVF out. Several years down the road, maybe we'll feel up to doing it again. Maybe we'll be, you know, in a place financially where we can just kind of throw that money at it and say, maybe it sticks, maybe it doesn't. But right now, I've had to just kind of refocus and say, you know, we're living our dreams, having this baby through adoption, and I just need to be grateful and thankful for that, which I am. It's just sometimes in that moment you have to remind yourself of, like I said, what's important, and sometimes it's like a slap in the face. Like, you know, the infertility is always there, and you know there's always a low chance that you're going to get pregnant, but when somebody reminds you of it, it's just kind of like, oh, it just hurts. It hurts worse. And I was mad at myself for getting my hopes up again. It's like, how many more times are you going to go through this and really think something's going to happen? It's never going to happen, which I know, if I can't say that, it might. My dad is the biggest supporter when it comes to believing that it's going to happen. So he is such a great help. Sometimes I get frustrated when he keeps telling me that things are gonna be okay, but I've started to realize more and more that he's right. And doesn't always mean it's gonna go the way that you want it to go, but it will be okay. So I'm trying to stay in that mind frame and that mindset for this. And I'm sitting in a room full of baby stuff that I'm so, so grateful for. It's just hard, and I'm trying to like let myself deal with the things emotionally and not just brush it under the rug and say, well, you should just be happy because you're having a baby through adoption, and so just let it go. You're getting what you want, because then it tends to get even worse over time. But anyways, that's the update I wanted to give you guys. I'm sorry that it was not happier. I had all of these great plans of these great videos that I was gonna make explaining how we were cured and everything was fantastic and there was a 90% chance we were gonna get pregnant naturally, and it just went in and he just kind of slapped me down on the ground. And was not something that I was expecting. I felt like I had been preparing for good and bad news, and then when I got bad news, I was like, wait, where's the good news? The good news is we're going to have a baby, and I'm so, so excited. Sorry to be a downer. It is Friday, though. Congratulations on making it through the week. I need to pat myself on the back for making it through the week, because this week has been rough, man. This week, oh, just a lot of different things not going right. But good news is, our home visit is on Sunday, which means we are literally done. I mean, we're done with our home study. Once this is done, we're done. We're just waiting on the approval letter. And then it's on to finishing the very last few things for our profile. And then we go live and we could be matched with a baby at any moment. And that's just so crazy to think about. And so I have been thinking and praying for our future baby and birth parents. So yeah, I'm excited. A little bit of tough news this week. I think I held it together pretty well. If I had filmed this yesterday or right after we had gotten the news, it would have literally just been a cry fest for 45 minutes because I could not choke the tears back. And even Derek, bless his heart, he is, I know you guys see it too. I see comments all the time about how sweet he is, and it's not just for the camera. He literally is the best man I've ever met. And he is so strong and so supportive, and it's so nice because he wants it just as badly as I do. And so to really be on the same page together and kind of feeling the same feelings, it's not like I'm really bummed out and he's like, oh, it'll be okay. Like, we kind of feel on the same level. So he's just been the best, and I'm so thankful for him. But we will see you guys on Monday. And we'll have some hopefully exciting news. We won't know, I don't think we'll know that we passed the home study yet. I think she'll probably tell us that we passed the home visit, but then they have to look over the stack of papers that we are going to give her, and all of that stuff. But I think it's only supposed to take like a week or two to get our approval letter, or that's what she said. She said sometimes it can take a little bit longer, but that normally it doesn't. So yeah, I'm really excited. Hope you guys have a fantastic weekend. We are going to have a busy weekend. We're going to Magic Kingdom tomorrow night to have some fun, and then getting this house in order and ready for our home visit. So we will see you guys on Monday. We love you guys. Thank you so much for your support and your kind words. You truly lift up our spirits every single day. And so I spent a lot of time on Wednesday after our appointment reading through you guys' sweet comments, and it really helped me a lot. So we will see you guys on Monday. Bye, guys.